Welcome back to Rate My Team. It's Rate My Team round 10. We have an absolute cracker on our hands. And I'll tell you what, guys, 3 weeks out from State of Origin, 3 weeks out from the craziest time in NRL fantasy, where we're going to have to deal with all the buys, all the players missing Origin, all that sort of jazz. Now, I've got a video coming out tomorrow at 7 a.m. That video is all about Origin. We have Turtles. We have Monty as well from Quickfire, and myself. We're going to talk through all the Origin options, how Origin works this year, and the rule changes that have happened this year in NRL fantasy. So that comes out at 7 a.m. tomorrow. The other thing I want to mention here too, before we jump in, is one of the big things I'm going to help you guys with right now is using a buy planner or planning out your buys. Now, you don't have to have a spreadsheet. It's not an absolute necessity, but I think it is worth understanding how these spreadsheets work and what we're doing with these spreadsheets. So let me show you guys just briefly how this works, and then I can sort of talk you through what I'm thinking here. So for the spreadsheet, let's go full screen. This is my buy planner. So we're looking at round 12 in this row here. Then we go to round 13, round 14, 15, etc., etc. Now, in round 12 and round 13, you can see here there's no bench playing. So they're grayed out or they're red because they're not playing at all that week. So round 12 and round 13, no bench. Round 14, full squad counts. Round 15 and 16, again, bench doesn't count. It's only the starting 13 players. Round 17, full squad again. Then round 18 and 19, no bench as well. So basically what's happening here is only your starting 13 players are going to count in the major and minor buy rounds. So I really want to hammer that because I think that's going to come up a lot in these teams and looking at trades. And the other thing to look at here then is, okay, well, what trades am I going to make? So I've just put my current squad into round 12 and round 13. I've got some sell options down here that I'm thinking about selling. But as it stands, current squad, I'm looking about a player short there, unless Corey Horsburgh plays, which looks unlikely. About a player short there. So Corey Horsburgh, I'll probably have to get another middle forward here. And if you go to round 13, if I buy Joey Tarpanay, I'm going to have a bit of a tricky situation because I've got a full starting 13, but I'm not able to use my bench. And I've got Joey Tarpanay, Corey Horsburgh, Cam Munster, all these guys wasting away on the bench, and I can't use them. So it's probably a bit of a warning that you don't want to have too many expensive middle forwards. And as I look at this, I sort of started to steer myself towards, hey, you know what? I'm going to try and keep Isaiah Yeo, keep Haas, keep May, and I'm going to try and target maybe some of these cheaper middle forwards like a Jazz Tavanga, a Jacob Safidi, these types of players instead. So that's kind of where my head's at. This spreadsheet, by the way, Turtle helped, so I've put him on there as well. But this spreadsheet, by the way, it's available to everyone who's in the private group. So if you're in cheapies, gun, mid-ranger, all those sorts of things, you get access to this as well. You get your own version. You just have to do what it says here. So click that file button up the top, and then you just go make a copy right there, and it makes you your own copy that you can edit. You can change it, take my terrible team out, put your own great team in there. So this is accessible to all of you guys as well. It's super, super useful. It's going to be really useful in figuring out your team. And then, this is all in the video tomorrow, but you can see that buy schedule. This has all the different teams' buys when they do have buys, and you can reference this. You can reference this one here that shows the origin outs as well. So that's all in the buy planning video tomorrow, but I just wanted to show you guys that one briefly before we tear in. Now, let's just quickly see what we've got. Who we got on here so far? We got KPM, FCEO. Cheers, mate. Appreciate that. NRL Nas, great to meet you at Magic Round, mate. Absolute cracker. Should get Biz on these videos, mate. Biz is in New York. He's in New York, so no chance of getting Biz on these ones. It's a strange time of night for him right now. But yeah, get him on buy, hold, sell. We're lucky to have him. Then best buy around or under 677K. Ponga, Mazu, Leo Thompson. Ponga's exciting, but you're probably going Mazu or Leo Thompson. Pick one of those two. I'd probably lean towards Mazu myself. I think he's going to score very well this week. Hello from deep south of the NZ. We love our Kiwis on here. Warriors, by the way, getting up 13 plus. I've got a video coming up later tonight I'm going to do with Bergs. He's tipping the Dragons, and I'm going Warriors by 1 billion. I reckon they're going to tear the Dragons apart. So that's where I'm sitting on that one. Any news on Corey Horsburgh yet? Nothing concrete yet, but if anyone does hear about concrete news on Corey Horsburgh, let us know. G'day, Jake. Hey, Jay. Good to see you. Night man. Different to day man. He lives in New York. Yeah, Biz lives in New York. He used to be in Parramatta here, but he's moved across to New York for a bit. I think it's at 9:59. Oh, bit early. Okay. Eye from the sun. Mate, long way away there. All right. And then I thought round 13, 17 player lineup isn't it. So No. So it's changed this year. So the big change this year, guys, and you can see it on this list here, is that rounds, basically the major and minor bye rounds are both 13-man weeks. So major and minor bye rounds, that's round 12, 15, 18, they're the majors, and round 13, 16, 19 are the minors. All of those rounds, you only play a starting 13. Brand new change for this year. It wasn't like that last year. It's a change this year. Really nail it down. If you're uncertain, just shoot me a message in Discord and I can really explain it, but should be pretty straightforward. You're only looking at 13 player lineups in the major and minor bye rounds. That's 6 rounds during this bye period. Philip, how you going, mate? And yes, up the heels. Hopefully we get a win up against the Dolphins. Now, let's tear into some of these teams here. I'm sure a bunch of them have been sent through. So let me just jump across to those. And we've got Rate My Team. Here we go. Let's chuck it on full screen. Rasta Tams, always good to see your team. Where's the rank, mate? I want to see the rank. Oh, from 30th from first. Bloody hell. That's a big dip. But look, it's a volatile couple of weeks here. So you're going to bounce around. That's okay. All right, where are we? Where are we getting to? Here we go. So I dropped a live on YouTube now. Dayman, you're the first one. So let's get into this. So hey, Longy, hope you're well this evening, man. Here's my team pre-trades. Just looking at a few options I've been tossing up. I mainly care about head-to-head, but my main priorities are, all right, big head-to-head matchup. Okay, so next week you want to nail that. That on Lucas. I don't mind that as well. And then absolutely want JC back and wing fullback. It's probably JC or Drinkwater. You're probably not getting both. So let's see. Horsburgh, Katonga, Mamazelis for King Tonga, Lucas, and Drinkwater. Good trades. Very good trades. Mamazelis, Horsburgh, Katonga for Riley, Lucas, King Tonga. Riley or Drinkwater. Yeah, okay. It frees up some cash, I guess. And Campbell. Or Lucas Safidi Smith. I'm probably leaning towards the Drinkwater trade. So this first trade, I think go Drinkwater, and the reason is, like, Campbell's an absolute beast, right? But I'm a bit worried that Kieran Foran's going to come back into the team and eat up a lot of those kick meters. And if Kieran Foran does come back, then Campbell's average drops closer to what Drinkwater's is. You also then have the injury risk with Campbell as well. So I would say go Drinkwater, save a bit of cash. Drinky, Lucas, and King Tongia is a great set. So I'd run with those guys myself, man. I reckon that's the play for you. Then we'll keep pumping through. We got user HS Van. There's a lot of letters in that. I feel like you slammed your head into the keyboard to make that username. So Mamazelis Ferrari Smith is absolutely fine here. We're then taking a run at any other trades. So you've already got Mamazelis out for Riley. Starting team looks pretty clean here, so you're in a good spot. Starting King Tonga there. Horsburgh's probably going to be out. Munro's obviously out as well. Jenkins on the bench. Jack Bird there. Okay, so there's a few issues that we can sort of trade through here. Got 300K in the bank, so you're in a good spot. I'd probably be looking to sell Jack Bird, and I'd sell Munro before I sold Horsburgh myself. So you've already got King Tonga in your team. I would probably look at going going Munro and Jack Bird out, and bring in your light at middle forward. So maybe bring in Jazz Tavanga and Jacob Safidi. I actually don't mind that for you at all. So Jazz and Jacob Safidi could be good options. You already got Lucas in there. You already got Sharp. So you're already good in those spots. I'd probably go with those two. So that's Munro out, Jack Bird out, Jazz Tavanga in, Jacob Safidi in. There are heaps of other options as well. So we did talk through a bunch of guys in buy, hold, sell. But I'm thinking those cheaper options there to fill up your middle forwards is a great play for you. So that's where I'd be slinging that cash. And we'll keep rolling through. All right, Rolando Bloom. Let's see these trades. So what have you said? You said playing head-to-head. Okay, yeah, cool. That's good to know. Want to get firmer, low break-even. Should I get Farmworth instead? Thinking about getting Karaz last week. Well, I mean, you're a head-to-head coach, so Origin doesn't matter that much to you. But Karaz has a really bad schedule for head-to-head coaches, so I wouldn't get Karaz if I was you. You've got Sharp, Tavanga, Farmworth. I think this is a great set of trades, really good, especially for a head-to-head coach because you want a cash generation as well. Karaz, Firma, Tavanga, I like that less. Or Sharp, Firma, and Smith. So I guess it's Farmworth or Firma. I'd probably go Herbie. over Bo Firma, myself. You already got Dylan Lucas there. I think Herbie has nuclear upside. He plays up against Parramatta this week, which is a team that struggles in defense. So I'd be running for these trades here, the Sharp, Tavanga, Farmworth trades. I think that suits your team the best. Don't worry too much about the buy period as well. If you're a head-to-head coach, you're probably not playing in round 12, 15, and 18. We're checking your fixtures if you are, but you're probably not playing those weeks. So when I talk about buy coverage, it actually doesn't really matter for you at all. Then Fantasy Triple H. Hey, Longy, should I move Mama Zealous or Toa? Oh, sorry, actually, just quickly for you, by the way, Rolando Bloom. Another option you have is you could look at going for Selwyn Cobbo. So Cobbo's not the best option in general, but he is a great option for head-to-head coaches because he's going to make a bunch of cash. I think it'd be a red hot option for you. So you have a look at Cobbo as well, see if that fits into your plans. But otherwise, I think your trades you suggested are good. Fantasy Triple H. Hey, Longy, should I move Mama Zealous or Toa for someone like King Tongia to bank some cash? Yeah, for sure. Also need one mid for round 12, but if Horsburgh plays Origin, I'll need two. All right, cool. So you need a couple of middle forwards. So these trades are good. 438K is huge to have in the bank. But like we said, right, in round 13, after the round 12 by round, you're going to have Yo, Haas, and May. There's sort of no point having a huge money middle forward at that stage. That's kind of how I'm looking at it. So yeah, I think you could go Stafford Toa out for someone really easily. You could sell Stafford Toa for basically anyone that you want, pretty much at this stage. Your winger fullback is pretty light right now as well. I guess you could run Jackson Purdue there, but I'd probably be looking to go wing fullback and not start Jenkins this week because Jenkins is on the bench. So I'd be going Stafford Toa out for a wing fullback. The wing fullback is somewhat up to you. You don't really need a wing fullback for round 12. So you can go for Scott Drinkwater. You can go for Jaden Campbell, one of these guys. You could take a Selwyn Cobbo if you want to go with me on that one. But I would say for you, it's either Jaden Campbell or Scott Drinkwater. You kind of got to make the call between those two. Drinkwater is the safer option. Campbell has the higher upside. Do you want to take a gamble on Campbell or do you want to go safe with Drinkwater? I could make that one rhyme. But I reckon that's the play for you. Stafford Toa for one of those big wing fullbacks who don't play round 12. That really covers you nicely and just strengthens up your team. Means you don't have to play Jenkins this week. Then Caleb, what's up, Longy? Pretty happy with my first two trades this week. You one center for round 12. Who would you go between Best and Kale Iro for my team? Thinking of getting rid of Kautonga. Ooh, I mean, Braden Best is not a certainty not to make Origins. So obviously, Preston to Lucas, good trade. Mama Zealous to Tavanga, I like that trade as well. Kautonga to whoever you want, basically. So you've asked for Best or Kale Iro. You've already got Herbie there. You grabbed Lucas just now as well. Does it need to be a center? Because, I mean, your options, right? You could move Dylan Lucas back into the centers there as well, and you could go for a second rower instead. So, Kale Iro, don't mind him. I like him a lot, but you're relying on a lot of attacking upside there. Bradman Best is a chance at making the Origin team. I don't think it's likely, but he's a chance at making Origin. So I'd personally be going like a Kai Pierce Paul instead. So if you go Kai Pierce Paul, you bring Dylan Lucas into the center pairing. Kai Pierce Paul, I think, will outscore those guys across the Origin period. But I do think Bradman Best is going to have a massive game this week. So if you think Best isn't going to make Origin, you can go for him. But I'd go Kai Pierce Paul over both of them and move Dylan Lucas into the center spot. Ollie JD, welcome, mate. You can see that little new sign there. So it looks like you've just jumped in. And guys, if you are trying to jump in, link is in the description of this video. Or if you guys, if any of you guys know the link and you can drop it in the chat, just drop it in there too. But you can just join up. You get access to the elite coaches section once you sign up, and you can jump in and share your team as well. I'll give you some advice there. But for Ollie JD, once again, thanks for all your effort. Any thoughts on my team? I'm looking, not making any trades this week, but I could possibly look at trade in Safidi or Tavanga. Don't know who to trade them in for. Yeah, Safidi and Tavanga are both fun ones. 78K in the bank. It's a tough one because you've got a few sellable guys, but Savala, White, and Toya are all holds. They're all holds. You're going to keep them. They have great Origin schedules. We talk about these guys on the buy video tomorrow, by the way. So definitely check that out as well. But you're selling Mama Zealous for sure. And then you could maybe look at selling Kautonga potentially if you don't like him. I think you probably keep Hubner now that he's starting. Is there anyone else that's sellable in the starting team? Maybe Jenkins you could sell as well. I'm not desperate to sell Jenkins, but I think he's an okay one to sell. So probably selling some of those guys, getting in. You're looking for middle forwards there. Safidi or Tavanga. I mean, Marmazelis to Tavanga is not a bad trade, but you already have Riley Smith, so you don't have to go Tavanga. Marmazelis to Safidi is probably the best trade there. So if you go Marmazelis to Safidi, you run that. That's a pretty good spot. You've made a bit of cash there, so you'll have about 200 and something K in the bank. And then you trade Jenkins out for someone who is 600K plus. That could be a goer. Or you could look at potentially going Marmazelis and Jenkins out for King Tongia and like Herbie, right? I actually quite like that trade. So that's Marmazelis and Jenkins out, King Tongia and Herbie in. You could do that. Or you could go, Jazz Tavanga in and someone who's a bit cheaper. Maybe you could target Mazu with the matchup this week or one of those other options there that's a bit cheaper as well. So that's where I'd be looking for you. You could even just bring in, Jazz Tavanga and also Jacob Safidi if you need that new middle forward set. But there's a few options there for you, Ollie. So just drop it through. When you come back later, level 1 cheapy trade chat. Drop your thoughts in there, and we can sort of talk through it a bit more as well. Woggy Sun, first 2 trades are pretty much locked in. Tossing the third trade, either going Watson to Tarpanay for the points this week, or moving Sandon to Tongia/Safidi. So Watson to Tarpanay or Sandon to Tongia and Fafidi. Watson's always a possibility not to play Origin. Yeah, okay. I would personally try to keep Watson at this stage. And let me just show you why. Because you've got all these big middle forwards, right? So when we go to round 13, you can see in my buy planner here, and you have access to this, by the way. I dropped it into the chat. So you can do your own one of this. I've built it out for you guys. You've got these middle forwards in round 13, and you can only play your starting 13. So you're going to have Payne Haas, Terrell May, Isaiah Yeo. They're probably going to be your starters. And then, if you have Joey Tarpanay, he's going to be sitting on the bench there, not scoring for you. He's not dual position. It doesn't give you that flexibility. You want a bit more flexibility there. So that's where, going a bit cheaper at middle forward might be the better option there. Or maybe if you're considering selling one of these guys like Haas, May, Yeo, that might make sense as well. But if you're not looking to sell those guys, then it puts you in a bit of a tricky situation. So that's where I'm thinking, Tarpanay might not be the best one to add in. I think a lot of people are adding him in, and I think that's going to actually hurt people quite a bit, the way those Origin schedules work. So I guess but that's a long way of me saying that I think the first trade is probably not the go. Keep Watson, and the second trade is the play. So Sandon to Tongia or Safidi really comes down to your preference of what you're looking for here. I would probably go King Tongia myself out of those two, just because Safidi is a very small chance of making Origin. Not likely to make Origin, but there's a small chance that Jacob Safidi makes Origin. So you might as well give him one more week and just see how he goes. He's not going to, blow up in cash or anything like that as well. So I'd go Sandon Smith to King Tongia. If you want to do a second trade, you could also sell Jenkins for someone or do something like that too, but you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. And you could easily keep Jenkins as well. He does play round 12. So I'm personally trying to keep him, but it is an option you can look at. Only Ducky, hey Longy, lots of money this week. Still need 2 mids and 1 center for round 12. Looking at Tarpanay and Lucas with that. Yeah, look, I like Tarpanay, but it's just that issue that I was talking about, like round 13. He's going to be kind of useless. You want to have a look at your team and think about what issues you need to address at that stage. Now, for your team, Marmazelis, Preston, Horsburgh out, King out, Lucas, Tarpanay, and these are good trades. These are good trades. It makes a bit of cash for you as well. Puts you in a good spot this week. Yeah, this is a good looking side. This is a good looking side. It's very strong. I would just recommend having a look at the buy planner because I think you might be a little bit short in the middle forward spot. I guess you got Riley Smith there, so you can move Aaron Clark in there. So you should be okay. But yeah, I think those trades are fine. The tough thing is you just have so many middle forwards now that your team is very, very middle forward heavy, and you're going to have a lot of useful players sitting on the bench for you in round 13. So just think about that. But other than that, I think Tarpanay is a good option for you. Yeah, I'm going to say yes to these trades. Just have a think about that buy planning part there a bit. But really, you don't have any gaps. You could target like a Herbie Farmworth instead, but I don't think it really hurts that much to go Tarpanay. I would just think about whether Herbie fits into your team. I think he might be a better option than Tarpanay for you, just because of that buy schedule like we talked about there. Then before I go into Crook's team, I'll just quickly check the chat, see who's up and about. What have we got going on? Also, guys, we do have that buy planner as well. So if you are in the private groups, I dropped it into level 1, level 2, level 3 chats. It's all in there. Now, let's see what we got going on. Do we think Sharp or Campbell? I would go Sharp. The matchup against the Titans this week is really good, and he's not under any injury clouds. Campbell's just coming back from his injury, so I would give Campbell a week on this one. Is Ponga too late to pick up? I think if you're a head-to-head team, Ponga's a great option. If you're an overall coach, then I wouldn't be targeting Ponga at this stage. But he could go nuclear the next 2 weeks. He could miss Origin. Like, there's a few things there as well. Then when I review Crooks, good timing, mate. Can you look in the DM? I accidentally didn't send my starting team. I can't really hop across, but if you just resend your, that's all right. I'll have a look at your trades anyway. You've got some notes there. I can see it, so I should be able to make it work. Nakora, a full season keeper. Historically, Nakora is a 48 to 52 average, so not quite a keeper, but good Origin cover. Doesn't need to be a center. Cheers, Longy. No worries, Jake. Do you think it's okay just to have Watson as my hooker until 100% know whether he plays Origin? Yeah, I think that's fine. I think it's fine. There's a chance that Watson will be available in round 12. It's not a high chance. I think Watson's done enough to keep his spot, but just keep an eye on those Origin teams, and you'll know for sure about Watson in a couple of weeks' time. And then I have 3 knights here. Looking at buying Kypius Paul, I think that's fine. You can have a bunch of knights there. They're scoring well in fantasy, so that's okay. They don't have a buy until round 18 as well. So those knights are a great option there. And I just want to hammer home too, guys, if you are in the group, you can actually see in the buy planner or in the video tomorrow as well, the knights schedule. So just here, we've got the knights up the top here, 4th team. You can see they have a great run before their buy. So their first buy is here in round 18. So yeah, worth noting there for the knights. Now let's keep tearing through. Got Crook's team here now. So thoughts. Safidi gives me 13 for round 12. If Jenkins gets named starting, I would reverse his trade and just go the other 2, which leaves me 453K in the bank. So we do Kaltonga. Okay, let's see. So round 12, you've got a pretty strong roster here. Yeah, Nafahu White, great flexibility because he's helpful outside of those major buy rounds as well. Nicholson, Lucas. Yeah, this is a strong side. Matty Burton there as well. So you covered in the halves. Maybe move Kaltonga on at some point if you want to. He's been a bit unreliable lately. Then Preston, Mamazelis, Jenkins out. All sellable guys for Lucas, Safidi, Garrick. I think this upgrades your team across the board. These are good trades. These are good trades, man. Yeah. I'm getting a feel for your team here, and you don't need to loophole either because you have all these roosters, but you've got a full team of green dots. So I think you're okay. Your other option could be that you sell, a rooster instead of Jenkins, but Jenkins is on the bench, so he's probably not going to be that useful for you anyway. And you've got 4 roosters that at this stage are probably just very holdable. So I'm going to say bang yes to these trades. I don't really think you really have another option unless you sold Watson instead of Jenkins, but I see no reason to do that. The other thing I'd mention is, maybe you could go more expensive than Safidi and go for someone bigger, but I just don't think at that 600K price point there's anyone that justifies it. So I'm going to say a bang yes to these ones. Crooks, you've absolutely nailed it. Cracking trades. Then NRL Noz, have I looped my bench properly, and how does it work? Because I'm not sure who takes what score. Happy with the Prees trade to Lucas. But if Horse plays, should I reverse that trade? Yeah. If anyone finds out news on Horsburgh, by the way, just drop it into or if you're in the group, drop it into major updates just here, and I'll make sure I know about it. But right now we don't know about Horsburgh. Just go for Herbie. Went up 1,000 ranks since you last moved my team. Mate, sick. Awesome. That's so cool. So Preston and Horsburgh out for Lucas and Farmworth. These are good trades. These guys are both set for big scores as well. Like they're both set for big scores this week. So, Farmworth against the Eels, Lucas against the Titans. Preston and Horsburgh are pretty easy ones to sell. Let me just make sure you don't have any other pressing issues. I mean, I'd sell Mama Zealous first before both of them. So that's a pretty easy one. Mama Zealous is looking like he's going to be out for about 4 to 6 weeks, pending scans. So what do we do there? I guess you couldn't afford buying both of these players. It might be a third trade that you make from Mama Zealous. So maybe you sell Mama Zealous for either Jazz Tavanga or Jacob Safidi. I would go for one of those two. So Pete Mamazelis out, Jazz Tavanga or Jacob Safidi in, depending on your risk tolerance. I think Jazz has a higher upside and better origin schedule, but Jacob Safidi is probably a safer scorer. So one of those two in for Mama Zealous, and that covers you really strongly in the middle forward position too. Then Bomb Life. Hey, Longy, this is what I'm currently thinking. Trying to prep for Origin and get my rank up. Doesn't seem to be working. I'm not sure about that last trade. Need a mid for round 12. Any advice? Round 12, so we got Mama Zealous, Preston, Purdue for Campbell, Lucas, and Thompson. These trades are fine. I don't know, Thompson. I'm just not that excited after looking at the buy planner and working out my own team. I'm just not that excited about spending up big on these middle forwards. It's kind of my concern here because the big middle forwards that we have, they probably want to back up and score well. You know, you're not going to bench Payne Haas. You're not going to bench Terrell May. Really, Isaiah Yeo, you're not going to bench him either. So it just makes these expensive middle forwards less appealing to me. So really, Leo Thompson, you're only using him in those in between weeks and in the major buy rounds. So I'd probably go Jacob Safidi over Leo Thompson than myself. And you've got Mama Zealous, Preston, Purdue you're selling. I would sell Jenkins before I sold Purdue. Yeah, definitely sell Jenkins before Purdue or Kautonga before Purdue. I'd be keeping Purdue a bit more tightly than those guys. So the change I would make if I was you is instead of selling Purdue, I would sell Jenkins. Instead of buying Thompson, I'd buy Jacob Safidi or Jazz Tavanga, one of those two guys. So just that last trade, you're changing up. You're making it Jenkins for Jazz or Jacob Safidi, and you're not getting Leo Thompson. That's my change there for you. Then Boltsy, hey Longy, I had an all right week last week, but I have a fair few roosters in my team. Don't really want to use a third trade this week, but without doing so, my bench looks pretty average. Based on who to sell, amount of trades, capacity options would be helpful. Cool. So Jenkins, Mama Zealous, King Tonga, and Riley Smith. Yeah, these are fine trades. You're generating some cash. In terms of amount of trades, look, there's no real number. Just try to save some trades going forward. But if there's trades you can make that make your team better, then you make those trades, right? And you just sort of hope for later. So you've got 18 trades left after making 2. I think you're in a good position. You could use an extra trade if you want to. You should be okay because you're looking pretty good for the Origin period, especially with all these Roosters players. I mean, my first thought is 360K in the bank. Sandon Smith sitting there. Or Owen Paddy. At the half spot, you have very little cover for round 12. So you've got only Savala, really, and then maybe Fletcher Sharp, but you're probably using Fletcher Sharp at wing fullback. So you probably want to keep Sandon, if that's the case, unless, maybe we sell Paddy. So 360K, if you sold Paddy, you'd have 600K, 606. Not a great amount of money to pivot to. If you sold Sandon Smith, you could do a lot with that. That would actually be really good. I'd probably be looking to sell Sandon if I was you and buy someone. And it's really, really anyone across the board. Now, you don't have Payne Haas. You're probably going to get rid of Tino for the Origin period as well. So you got Couchman there, but you're not in the position where you can't buy middle forwards. So if I was you, I'd probably go Sandon Smith to, Joey Tarpanay or something like that. You could also go Sandon Smith to like Herbie, but I think it throws your team out a bit for round 12, so I wouldn't do it. So probably Sandon to Joey Tarpanay or Sandon Smith to, you could go to a top half. You could go to like a Nico Hines or someone like that as well. But I'd be looking at that. Sandon to Joey Tarpanay, Sandon to Nico Hines. I think you're in an okay position for trades as well, and you can lock those ones in, man. Then Dano, team below after potential trades. Don't want to trade Purdue and Hubner as they'll be handy for the Origin period by round 12. Yep. Tossing up between Kautonga or Jenkins to trade. I know they're both round 12 players. Holding Kautonga just feels yuck while trading Purdue. Okay, let's see this. So you've got Mama Zealous, Preston, Kautonga out for King Tonga, Sharp, and Tapane. These look good. These look good preliminarily. Let's see how the team looks. So yeah, Tapane sits on the bench. I think you're going to fall into the same trap as I did when I was looking at my team this week. You're going to keep Payne Haas, Terrell May, Isaiah Yeo. They cover all those minor periods. And, Terrell May, Joey Tarpanay, Corey Horsburgh, you might have Tarpanay sitting on your bench because he doesn't offer any flexibility. So I'm not as keen on loading up on these really expensive middle forwards. So that probably puts me in a position where I'm thinking maybe you swap King Tonga for Jazz Tavanga and you swap Tarpanay for someone at a different position. I'm just trying to think of what spot you need to upgrade. You've sold Rob Toya. You've got Tamale to come in to the wing fullback spot. Jenkins, a bit unreliable. Edge back row. I'd probably be going Herbie Farmworth. So instead of King Tonga and Tarpanay, I would go Herbie Farmworth and Jazz Tavanga. I think you could afford that. I think that would be fine. And I'd probably go with those two instead, just because of what I've talked about here. So just because of, just in case anyone's just come in, just because of this issue here. So my buy plan around 13, looking at my starting team, the middle forward spot, so these three, Payne Haas, Terrell Mayers, Yo, keeping them. And if I got Tarpanay, he'd be sitting on my bench in round 13. You could only play 3 middle forwards because you can only play starting 13. It's the same issue in round 16 and the same issue in round 19 as well. So it puts you in a bit of a tricky position when you get these types of guys like, Tarpanay, Kip Horsburgh, all that sort of thing. It just makes them a little bit less appealing to hold on to. So I'd be going with someone that you can start instead, like a Herbie Farmworth or, one of these guys. Herbie Farmworth covers round 12, but Herbie does have that buy in round 13. So I guess it probably doesn't help as much. But, he's getting that buy out of the way in round 13, and then he plays round 15, whereas these Raiders boys don't play round 15, right? So that's what I'm thinking for you. I'd go Jazz and Herbie instead of King Tonga and Tarpanay. But we'll talk more later, Dano. You're obviously in level 2 there with the purple name. So we'll get into your team a bit later too. Then Fantasy Triple H, we did your team already, I reckon. So you're all covered. CFA, Kia Ora Longy. Hey, how's it going, mate? Here's the team before trades. Ended up bottling it and not going Ponga. I'm thinking about 3 trades this week, but could be go to cover for round 12. Disaster last week having Toya and Jenkins in my emergency slots. Hopefully start climbing the ranks during Origin. Any other trade advice ideas? No worries, man. Happy to help. So we've got Marmazelis, Preston, and Hubner out for Jazz Tavanga, Lucas, and Safidi in. Yeah, these are fun trades. These are good trades. They're big upside there. You're loading up your middle forwards with those lighter options. You're going to keep the big dogs through those weeks as well. That gives you a lot of flexibility with your roster, which I actually quite like a lot right now. In terms of how the team looks healthy. You're in the same boat as me with Cam Munster there. I mean, he's had back-to-back 100-meter plus running games, but just hasn't had the attacking stats to back it up. So, we're going to ride the wave at this point. But I would say these trades are good, man. These upgrade your side. They put you in a good position for round 12 as well. So, yeah, banging trades, man. I wouldn't change much about them. You could think about, going instead of Tavanga and Safidi, you could go for someone more expensive as well in a different position. But I mean, I'm just thinking of an example here. You could go for, let me just make sure it works for your team. Yeah, you could go for Kai Pierce-Paul instead of Jacob Safidi. I actually don't mind that for you. I think KPP pops off this week, so that's an option. Kai Pierce-Paul instead of Safidi, but Safidi is a great option as well. So I'm happy with either of these options for you. Then CJ3616. Hey Longy, teams in shambles. Any new news on Horse and Mam? Because I'll trade them to Tarpanay and someone around that 300K mark, as shown in the second trade. If Horse is good, who to trade Mam for? I have 3 hookers being Clark, Watson, Smith. Yeah, you're all good there. Let's see these trades. So Preston to Lucas is good. I like that. Preston to Lucas, Horsburgh to Tarpanay, and then 700K player. Or Preston to Lucas, Mars Monzelis. I'm just trying to see if you need to sell Horsburgh this week. Yeah, okay. So you probably do. You have all these Roosters players out. So you probably do need to sell Horsburgh this week. In that case, I think we're going to go with this triple trade. So it just becomes a question of which player at that 705K mark do we like. I'm probably going to go back to Kai Pierce-Paul. I like Kai Pierce-Paul. I'm just having a look at my notes here. You've already got Sharp, who I like a lot as well. You have Herbie, but he's a bit more expensive than that, so you can't get him. Go cheaper, get Safidi or Jazz or something like that. But I think the play for you is probably going to be Kai Pierce-Paul with the third trade. So you do this triple trade, Preston, Horsburgh, Marmazelis out for Lucas Tarpanay and Kai Pierce-Paul in. Just make sure, you've got Nicholson, and then Lucas can play in the centers, so it gives you a bit of flexibility. It gives you flexibility to move off Kautonga if you need to as well. So I'm going to say you do that, get Kai Pierce-Paul. you load up on Knights for this week, and I think they're on the bounce back right now as well. So that's what I'd run if I was you. Then Vertigo. Sadly, have to get rid of a Rooster because I have 4 plus horse, and I have to bring in a winger as I don't have the cover for Teddy. So thinking either the trade below if horse plays, or Watson, horse, Mamazelis to Drinky, Tarpanay, and King Tonga. So Watson, horse, Mamazelis to Drinky, Tarpanay, and King Tonga is a good trade. It's a good set of trades. You can run with those, or just double with Safidi. I don't mind that as well. I actually think it's better to go cheaper at your backup middle forwards, because again, you're like most. You have a pretty heavy middle forward set, although you don't have Isaiah Yo, so you have a bit more flexibility than most do. Yeah, you got all those roosters that you're gonna have to contend with. I think the double trade is the play. So Marmazels and Watson for Safidi and Campbell. I think that's your option there, because you're not going to sell White, Savala, or Wong. So this is the play. You do this double trade, and you're in a good spot there. It's going to leave you a little bit light. You'll only have one loophole option. Your loophole should probably be involving probably Kautonga and Tamale maybe, but yeah, I guess you can't loophole Tamale because you don't have the wing fullbacks to use. So it's probably going to be Kautonga and Hubner potentially would be your loopholes. So yeah, run with that. You should be in a good spot. Or you could target a half as well when you got Savala there, but you only have the 1 half for round 12. And then you got Sharp who can kind of play there, right? So you could target a half too, and you can get, Nico Hines instead of Jaden Campbell, less injury risk, all that sort of thing. But I think this double trade is pretty good. So yeah, run with that. It strengthens your wing fullback, gives you a lot of flexibility. Then YDB99, hey, long dog, help me out, please. Thinking of Mam for Aaron Clark, but don't know. Yeah, Mama Zealous for Aaron Clark, but don't know what else. I believe I have enough trades. So, okay. Last year was my first year, and there was injuries. Yeah, man, last year was crazy. This year will heat up as well. By the way, there's going to be tough periods this year. You got 28 trades though, so you're in a good spot here. You definitely saved a few. Now, a lot of Roosters players, Toya's a hold, Sandon Smith you could sell, Savala and Nawani Tuase are holds as well. So Sandon Smith's probably the one you can move on here. So you're probably selling Sandon, and then you got 177K in the bank. So that leaves you at a pretty nice level with about 640K. So with 641K, what are we targeting? Unless we do a double trade, which I don't mind actually. If we do a double trade, I can make something good happen for you here. So I think we're going to do a double trade. We're going to do a double trade. So what I'm thinking here is we do Sandon Smith and Alex Seyfarth out. I think Seyfarth sort of run his race. He might make a bit more cash, but I think he's run his race. So Sandon and Seyfarth out. We buy Jacob Safidi for that round 12 buy. Ooh, actually, sorry, I've just realized something. You don't have a hooker. Oh, you got Mama Zealous there. Okay. Repivot. We're going to have to sell Mama Zealous and Sandon Smith. And we're buying Jazz Tavanga and Dylan Lucas. So selling Mama Zealous and Sandon Smith, buying Jazz Tavanga and Dylan Lucas. I think that beefs you up. That puts you in a position where you now have one spare player. So you're going to be strong for this week, and it just gives you a lot of security. It's a double trade. If you wanted to sell Seyfarth as well, I'm not against it, but there's no rush to do it. Now that I know that you have Mama Zealous, you can sell. So, mate, puts you in a good spot. I'll talk to you later as well on the later call too. Then Gentle Giant PK. Hey, Longy, this is my team before trades. Thoughts on Team Latin? Before you just go through your team, just going to quickly check the chat, see who's buzzing around. So, yeah, Sandon Mama Zealous out. Exactly right. Preston DeLucas or Campbell. Yeah, Preston Lucas is fine. I would go Preston Lucas personally, rather than Campbell. I think Lucas is a bit safer right now. Thoughts on Cam McInnes or Tarpanay for Preston? Both good options, but just keep an eye on your middle forwards, because remember those minor buy rounds, you can only play 13 players. Play Purdue or bench him and upgrade a player to Farmworth. I like the idea of going to Farmworth, so I'd probably be going Farmworth. And oh no, it's fuzzy. Oh, I'll try to upgrade it next time. Thoughts on Mamazelis to Verrills? He has pure defensive stats, even with big losses. Mamazelis to Verrills. Yeah, he's all right. I'm not super keen. Roman asks, is Angus a sell? I think he absolutely is a sell for sure. Yep. Keeping Preston crazy. Howdy, howdy. Let's get rowdy. Good to see you, CIF Kanga, one of the best game day players as well. I'll throw in there too. Especially with Munters, like Munster, probably sell in the next couple of weeks, but no rush to do that. And this is just crazy. Keeping Preston. So, guys, Preston doesn't play until round 15. It's round 10. You can't keep Preston. I'm not allowing it. I'm not allowing it. You're not allowed to keep Preston in your teams, guys. I'm just not going to let you do that. And then Aussie, how you doing, mate? Good to meet you in person, brother. It was great to meet you at Magic Round a couple of times. So hope you had a cracker weekend and got on the beers, mate. If you're over 18, which I reckon you're over 18. You're like 20 or something, 21. You never know, right? I'm too old. It's hard to read. But you're in a bar, so yeah, you definitely are. And then Longy got 12, 15. Thanks to me, mate. All thanks to you. You made your moves. It's your team. I just give you a bit of information, but you guys are the ones pulling the strings. You know, I'm not coaching any of your fantasy sides, so give yourselves credit. Even if you consume this information, give yourself the credit. You're the one, you know, analyzing it all and making your own calls there. So congrats to you. Gentle Giant PK. Hey, this is my team. Thoughts on team and layout. Trying to focus on Origin. Going to need 3 mids and 1 center, 1 edge for the period. What's your thoughts on these trades? Only 17 trades left, which I think isn't a concern yet. Any other trade ideas or thoughts would be awesome. Like in the first trade. Yeah, so you need the mids, a center, and an edge, but just remember the middles. You can't be playing heaps of them in those minor buy rounds as well. So Preston, Mamazelis, Hubner for Lucas, Tavanga, Safidi. These are good trades. Leaves you a lot of cash in the bank. It doesn't waste a bunch of money in middle forward in positions you can't always use. So I think these are absolute cracker trades. Then Preston, Mamazelis, Katonga for Tavanga, Farmworth, and Lucas. I like this even better. Yeah, I think I like this better. I like the idea of keeping Hubner as well. So I'm going to say this is my favorite now. And then Preston, Mamazelis, and Katonga for Tavanga, Tapane, Nakora. I like this a lot less. I think this is the set, right? So targeting Tavanga, Farmworth, and Lucas, it beats up your centers massively. Absolutely powers up your centers. You can move Rugen Garrick into the wing fullback every now and then as well. And it strengthens up your middle forward rotation too. So yeah, that's a cracking pair of trades. You can also run Dylan Lucas in the edge back row spot. So I'm going to say that middle trade with 5K left. You run after those big dog centers, man. Target that and you'll be sweet. Very sweet. Aiden, hey Longy, need 1 hook and 1 mid. These trades will give me a full squad for round 12. So hopefully you can save some trades now. Also, me and my mate, who's also in top 1K, are trying to captain someone who's not in the big 3. Ooh, okay. Captaining someone outside of the big 3 is interesting. I'd probably be doing it based on matchups. So you're either looking at Herbie Farmworth, Dylan Lucas, you know, Fletcher Sharp, one of these guys. And yeah, you've gone straight away. You've gone Farmworth and Sharp here. So yeah, I think those are reasonable options for your captain there. I'd probably go Herbie over Sharp myself, but Sharp could easily kill in this Titans game. I just think Herbie has a really strong base. So yeah, one of those two is the good option. Lucas is another good option. He's a very safe option, but I'm probably leaning towards Herbie as my captain option if I was going outside of the big 3. Now, let's just have a look at your trades here. So you got Marmazelis and Preston out for Tavanga and Tarpanay. Yeah, these trades are okay. Tarpanay is pretty expensive, but it's not too bad. You could, I'm just having a look at anything else you could do here. There's not too much I'd change for you. I think these are good trades. Yeah, you can run these trades. 257K. You do have a bit of cash you could use. You could upgrade, you know, Jenkins or something, but I don't think you really need to. Like your team looks in a pretty good, healthy state for this week. Got a good loophole set up as well. You could easily do your loophole with Kautonga too if you wanted to, but yeah, I think this leaves you in a great position. So yeah, take a run at these trades. Mate, you're set. You're in a good spot. And that, let me know who you go with, by the way, with that Mad Dog captain there. If you go outside of the big 3, I want to know who you captained and send some screenshots as well. Once the game starts, though, not pre-round. I don't want any of that. Now, next team we got here, keeping 200K spare for Papi to Karaz if he's not selected for Origin. Okay, decent move. So Marmazelis, Preston, and Horsburgh out for Tavanga, Lucas, and Tarpanay. These trades are absolutely fine. Yep, banging trades. Hudson Young might be a problem. He might make Origin, so just keep an eye out for that. But otherwise, yeah, this is a good looking side. You're in a good position here. Robbie Toya, nice one. You kept him. Yeah, no, I'm happy with this. No, Payne Haas is pretty crazy, but it's too late to get Payne Haas now. So, yeah, take a run at those trades. See if there's anything I'd change. It's not really anything I'd change here. Tavanga, Lucas, Tarpanay, it strengthens up your team through the origin period. You don't have Payne Haas, so you can afford to jump on another big dog in the middle forward spot. Billy Walters is the GOAT. I'm torn. Do I get Safidi or Jazz for this last trade? Jazz would probably fit in my team better, but I'm worried about his job security. I also have Horsburgh. We're on the live tonight. Oh, okay. Well, I won't do your team now then. Oh, actually, sorry, you are watching. Yeah, very cool. I'll let you. Yeah, I'll cover your team then. You can watch later. Preston, Marmazelis, and Jenkins out for Lucas, Karaz, and Safidi. These are good trades. They're good trades. I'm not that into Karaz right now. He's expensive now. So the appeal of him was he was 630K. Like, he was a bit cheaper. He's a bit expensive now. He's got that origin risk. Like, he played really good footy last week next to Stephen Crichton, who will get picked for sure. Big chance that Karaz gets picked for origin. Really big chance. So that's the one thing you really got to worry about. I think there are other options that are less likely to get picked that I like more. So if I was you, I wouldn't go Karaz. I would go. You're going Dylan Lucas there. You can move Garrick into the wing fullback. I'd go Herbie Farnworth over Karaz every day of the week. I know Herbie's a bit expensive though. Let me just double check his price because I know he's like right on the border of affordable for you. So Herbie is currently priced at 746, so he'd be a bit too expensive for you. Just a little bit. In that case, what if we did exactly these trades, but just replaced Karaz with Herbie and replaced Jacob Safidi with Jazz Tavanga? That's what I'd do, but if you like Karaz, then stick with these trades. But I'd personally go Herbie and Jazz over Karaz and Safidi. That's how I see it. I think Karaz, like, you got a big score last week on the back of that Titans matchup, and it's not going to happen every week. Then Hurring, hey mate, hope you're doing well. Just looking for some advice on which of these trades to pull the trigger on. Leaning more towards the Tarpanay trade. I'm looking to pick up Fanua Blake and also Safidi before round 13. I think you mean round 12. Not too fast about money as salary is looking decent. Can you hear your thoughts? Let's see this. So, yeah, Tarpanay is pretty good. Solid option there. Fanua Blake, I wouldn't get Fanua Blake right now. I think he's dropping a bit of cash, and I got on last week, and I'm not super happy about it. And then Safidi and King Tonga leaves you with an absurd amount of cash in the bank, like just ridiculous. So, I'm probably leaning of the trades you suggested. I'm leaning towards the Tarpanay trade. I think it's a waste to leave so much cash in the bank, though. So, if I was you, I'd probably think about maybe let the Eels play and see how Yongi plays. If Yongi plays well, you just don't do the trade. But if Yongi plays poorly, I would then look at trading Jenkins or something like that out and upgrading to someone big like, a Herbie Farnworth or one of these types of players, Kai Pierce-Paul. I would have a look at that, adding that trade as well. So going the Tarpanay trade, and then if Yongi doesn't play well, upgrading Jenkins to a big dog and putting them into your team instead of, taking the Jenkins score. So that's my advice for you, Haring. Hopefully that works out well. Then Zaya P24. Hey, Longy, this is what I'm looking at. I'm open to trading out horse, just unsure about the HI ruling. Let's see. Marmazelis, Preston, and Kautonga for Farmworth, Pierce-Paul, and King Tonga. These are good trades, man. Yeah, these are rock solid. I'm just going to have a look and see if Kautonga is the best sell for you. Yeah, you got a lot of interesting pods here. So Burton, Tokamane, there's a few guys in here that are a bit different. Sell and Cobo as well. That's a lot of fun. Now, yeah, I'm going to say yes to these trades, man. These are rock solid. You've already got Dylan Lucas as well. He's the one I might have counted with on Pierce-Paul, but these are great trades. Bang those out and you're sweet, man. Then Jacko, hey mate, Longy, how's it going, Jacko? Good to see you. My team, should I be doing something else? What's your opinion on it? No worries. Happy to help. So Preston, Watson, Marmazelis out for Garrick, Tarpanay, and Tavanga. These are a bit different, but Manly do cover all the major buy rounds as well. So that buy video, definitely check that out tomorrow. It's going to be an absolute cracker. Goes through all the options, so you might end up changing trades after watching that. But I think these trades are good. I think if you're getting Jazz, you might want to try and squeeze him into the 17, but it's a tough one because you have quite a strong side. I would personally play Jazz Tavanga over Kautonga straight away. Yeah, these trades are good. Yeah, I would play Jazz over Kautonga. So move Garrick into your starting center spot, and then play Jazz on the bench instead of Kautonga. So starting at lock, I think he's going to be quite effective this week, and yeah, definitely one you can roll with there. I guess though it does hurt your loophole. That's the one issue. So maybe you do want to stick with this as is. Mm, yeah, maybe stick with as is. I mean, Jenkins, you could run the loophole with Jenkins, but there's a bit of risk that Jenkins just doesn't get the start. I think he might move into the starting side. Yeah, so leave it as is right now, unless you do want to take a big gamble. These trades are good. I think you're in a good spot there. So I would run at those trades. Yeah, your loophole is set up nicely. Payne Haas is captain. Big conversation to be had about captains this week too. And how's it going? Rasta Thames. Hey, Longy, bro. Big time cleanup needed. Regret trading last week. Looking at Jenko, Preston, Mamazelis out. Need a wing. Any thoughts, bro? Cheers. Bit of a drop. I feel like it's too many nights. Is Turbo an option? Turbo is definitely a pod option once Origin teams are named. But for these trades here, we've got Preston, Mamazelis, Jenkins for Lucas, Pierce, Paul, and Ponga. I don't think it's too many nights. Like, look, Ponga's a big pod, like to buy. He's not a pod in general, but he's a bit of a pod to buy at this point. Great fixtures coming up. Could easily tear up massive scores over the next couple of weeks. Obviously, a good price there as well. So Ponga's not insane, but for your team, you're an overall coach. My advice, my first piece of advice would be to have a look at the buy planner they've put out. Check out that buy planner and just put your team into it. And work with that and just sort of see what you've got, because I think buying Ponga might actually hurt you quite a bit if he plays Origin. In terms of your team here, you've got look, the trades are pretty good though. I'd probably buy someone else instead of Ponga, so maybe target someone different. Just trying to think of who you could target here. You're already buying Lucas there, so you got Lucas and Farnworth already. You got Sharp and Pappenhausen there too. Probably looking at another wing fullback instead of Ponga. But if you want to go Ponga, you can go Ponga as well. I don't hate it completely. Hmm. I guess the more I think about Ponga, the more I think it's a big pod because you're up the top there, right? So you're ranked 30th. Now in the top group, Ponga is actually quite a pod because most of the top coaches didn't have Ponga and didn't have to suffer through his low scores. So the more I think about it, the more I actually really like that pod. I'm going to say yes to these trades, but just make sure you nail your loopholes as well, because I want to like send the screenshots through anyway. You're in level 3, so send those through when you set your loopholes up as well. And we can have a chat about those too, but I think these are good trades. Like, you're playing the upside game here with loading up on Knights and hoping they destroy the Titans. I like these trades quite a bit. And then Kai567, I'll see you on the call later as well, but let's just quickly touch on your trades here. So we got Mama Zealous, Yo, and Purdue. Okay, yeah, selling Yo, I think it's a bit early for Brayley, Safidi, and Campbell. Yeah, Brayley's okay. Campbell and Safidi I like. So round 15, here's your coverage. You should use that spreadsheet now. Much better than this. But you've got the Brayley hooker, Safidi, Couch, round 15. Yep, full round 12, okay. Then Halasima, Egan. I don't think the Warriors play in round 15, so Halasima won't play. Savala, then Herbie, Toya, Sharp, Campbell. Cool. Yeah, you're in a pretty good spot here. I don't mind it. It's a bit of a pod. Look, if you don't like Jazz Tavanga or Riley Smith, then Brayley is not absurd. Brayley is very solid. The Sharks will be pretty unaffected by Origin as well, so you can make a case that he might, score better through the Origin period. So I don't hate it, but personally, I'd be going for Jazz Tavanga or Riley Smith and saving a bit of cash there. But look, I don't mind it. Bit of a pod. He can get hot at the right time. So I'm going to say, yeah, these trades are cool. We'll talk more later, but I think they're pretty fun pod trades there. Frank Charles, any advice, Longy, on my trades or where I can improve? Let's see these. So you've got Preston, Mamazelis, Horsburgh, for Lucas, Aitken, Tarpanay. Aitken, it's a bit scary because he keeps moving to center. So I'm waiting on Aitken myself, but these are reasonably solid trades. You've got Couchman, Hubner, Nicholson. Yeah, okay. Aitken in the loop, but I think you'd be starting Aitken pretty happily. Yeah, these trades are reasonable. It's a very high upside team you've got too. So I'm gonna say yes to these trades. I would consider not doing the Horsburgh to Aitken trade. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. I'd probably, if I was you, instead of going Horsburgh to Aitken, I would sit on that trade, not make that trade, and I would go Duffy to King Tonga instead. So instead of Horsburgh to Aitken, I would go Duffy to King Tonga, and then I'd do the other trades as they are. I think that's the better play for you. Hopefully that works out financially, but that's the swap I'd make. Then Loho Fuas. All right, just wondering if these are good trades. How's my team looking? Let's see this one, man. Man, you got some weird ads coming up on your fantasy app. So we got Mama Zealous and Watson out for Riley Smith and Jaden Campbell. Looks okay. Looks all right. Let's just make sure they're the guys to sell. Yeah, Jenkins, Yongi, they're both a bit dodgy, but you can keep them for a bit longer. Starting side looks good. It looks really good. So, yeah, I think these are reasonable trades. Mama Zealous and Watson out. You could think about with the 160K potentially using that and upgrading Jenkins to someone as well, but you don't have to do that just yet. So, yeah, I think that double trade is good. It leaves your team in a good position. You have Yongi and King Tonga in a great loophole as well. Take a run at that and you're set. And Jazz Tavanga is the GOAT. Well, you better be buying Jazz Tavanga, mate. If your profile name is Jazz Tavanga, the GOAT, you're buying Jazz Tavanga. So 3 weeks in a row, hit 1,000 plus, hit 1124 last week, and was 12.3K rank 2 or 3 weeks ago. Mate, awesome. Awesome. Really good. So following my origin round schedule, doing well so far. Confirm the Jazz trade. Deciding whether I get Drinky this week or a gun middle, the buys, even hold the trade. Big red to Radley is confirmed for next week. I like that Radley trade, I think, because that flexibility, that dual position is really useful. So Mama Zealous and Kautonga for Tavanga and McInnes. These are banging trades. I'm going to say, yeah, those are great. Or Tavanga and Fanua Blake. I mean, McInnes is a bit safer right now. Fanua Blake's been a bit up and down. Like, I've got Fanua Blake, but I'm not a big believer. It's really like, do you want the safety of McInnes or the attacking upside of Fanua Blake? You're going to make a call there. If I was choosing this week, I might go McInnes. Like, I feel a lot of regret about Fanua Blake. And then we've got Safidi and Tavanga. These are great trades, and they set you up with a bunch of cash next week as well, or Drinkwater and Tavanga. I'm probably leaning towards Drinkwater and Tavanga, but let me just check your team here. So your team's pretty deep, though. It's pretty deep backline. Like, you're already pretty well set. I guess that's probably a good reason to get someone like Drinkwater. I'm going to say Drinky and Tavanga for you. I think like your middle forwards, you got Tarpanay there already, Payne Haas, Terrell May. You got the couch there too. Like, you've got a very strong set of middle forwards, good edge back rowers. I'd be going Drinkwater and Tavanga. That's my advice for you there. I think target those two, strengthen out that wing fullback and sort of make it match your forward pack there as well. And we'll do a few more here, and then I'm gonna have to finish up, and we'll then jump on to written reviews after this as well. So Jack, hey Longy, didn't really want to make 2 trades this week, but it is what it is. Yeah, mate, it's tough, isn't it? Mama Zealous and Preston for Smith and Lucas. These are good trades. They're good guys to target. Just make sure you don't have any issues with your team, but it looks pretty good. Aaron Clark can go to middle forward at certain times as well. Lucas is red hot for basically any team. You're obviously going to bring Lucas into your starting side. Just don't leave him on your emergencies, but I'm sure you're already across that. So definitely start Lucas over Halasima or Riley Smith. Obviously Nafahu White. That's a pretty easy one there as well. So I just make that change. But yeah, they're good trades, man. I know you're forced to trade this week, but hey, we can roll with it. Then ABZ, need advice on what trades to do this week with my current team. Preston out for 4 weeks, and Mama Zealous also out for that long. Yeah, that's right. So you're gonna have to sell Preston and Mama Zealous. So for you, I'm probably looking at selling Mama Zealous, selling Preston. You could sell Paddy if you want to as well. Paddy's kind of useless for fantasy. So I would probably sell those 3. So if you're selling Mama Zealous, Preston, and Paddy, you probably buy Herbie Farmworth, Jazz Tavanga, and then someone else. Maybe like a Kai Pierce-Paul or a Nico Hines or one of these types of players there too. So that's probably the triple trade I'd recommend for you. Just shoot through level 1. Any ideas you've got there, and we can chat a bit more. But that's the triple trade I'd look for if I was you. So targeting Herbie Farmworth, Jazz Tavanga, and maybe Nico Hines or Kai Pierce-Paul or one of these types of players. Holly Davidson, a bit of prep for buy rounds. Origin only seeing Purdue. Yeah, okay. Yeah, interesting. So Yo, Mama Zealous, Purdue. I don't know about selling Yo just yet. I think give him one more week personally, but yeah. And then got Tarpanay, Riley Smith, and Dylan Lucas. Tarpanay, Riley Smith, Dylan Lucas is a good set of guys to buy. Leaves you in a pretty good spot here. You got Xavier Wilson there, who's a bit of a fun pod. Some Roosters you have to sort of deal with this week. You got a nice loophole set up. Yeah, I think these are good trades. Yeah. I mean, you don't have to sell Yo. That's the one thing I'd say. Or Jackson Purdue. I think Yo improves your team this week, but you're using the cash pretty well. So I'm going to say yes to these trades. Take a run at these, but just have a think about it during the week. Like if you want to pivot away from selling Isaiah Yo and go a different way, maybe selling one of your cheaper players instead, like a Jenkins for Jacob Safidi or something like that, and then keeping Yo a bit longer. Then Latrell, we've got here. So, hey, Longy, not sure what to do in terms of trades. All I know is Mamazelis and Preston are out. Need edge, center, 2 mids. So Mamazelis and Preston out. I'm going to say buy Dylan Lucas and edge, center, and mids. Yeah, Mamazelis and Preston out. Buy Dylan Lucas and buy, Kai Pierce-Paul or Jacob Safidi or Jazz Tavanga, one of those guys, depending on the cash you got there. And then Macca's boy Z, we'll do your team later as well in the group chat, but I'll just quickly have a look at it. I'll look at Vincenti's as well, and then we'll finish up here. So Dry Gray, Mama Zealous, and I'll do some trade questions too with you guys as well. For Lucas and Tavanga, these are good trades. There's a lot of cash in the bank, but they're solid trades. You could do a third trade here and get rid of Jenkins or Yongi or one of these guys if you want to and upgrade them to someone else. I don't mind that if I'm you. So I'd probably add the third trade and upgrade Jenkins or Yongi to someone better. Maybe like a Herbie Farmworth or, Kai Pierce-Paul or one of these options we've talked about today. So that's the pivot I'd make for you. And then Vincenti's still using one short of mid-round 12. That's fine. You want a bit of flexibility. Still time left. Trying to make some cash. Trades for now. Open trading Jenkins, Katonga, and Sandon Smith. You can actually buy anyone if I flick either of these three. Okay, let's see. So Mamazelis for Tavanga, Preston for Tarpanay. These trades are fine. And then, an upgrade. I'm liking Lucas and Herbie Farmworth right now a lot. So you've got both of them already. Maybe you could go to a Drinkwater or someone like that if you want to at the wing fullback spot. You go for Jaden Campbell. Go for Kai Pierce-Paul. Like you've got a lot of options here. I'd probably look at one of those guys, and it really comes down to your team there. So check out the buy planner. We can chat more later as well, but that's an easy spot to have a look at it. Now, guys, that's the teams done. I'll just quickly cover this as well because I think it's worth recovering this just at the end. So buy planner, if you're in the private group, a bunch of you guys are already popping up here. Anonymous Turtle, maybe that is Turtle. I sent the link in level 1, level 2, level 3 chat to this. I've pre-filled it with some of my players, but you can replace them with your own players. All you have to do is go file, make a copy. So file, make a copy. You make your own one. You can edit it and change a bunch of things. And you just put in your team for these rounds. So you got all the positions there. You're chucking the player names in. You can put in who you're thinking about selling at these stages as well. And then you can just take a run at those, right? So this is a really good way to have a look at who you would start each week. I also label it. So row 15 here, no bench, in scores count, that kind of thing. That's labeled with whether it's going to be around where only 13 players play. So major and minor buy rounds are only a starting 13, whereas round 14 and 17, that's the full 17 play. So just keep an eye on that. Have a play around with this. Start putting your players in. Remember, it's file, make a copy to make your own one. You can't edit my one, so you're going to have to make your own copy there. So it's really simple. File, make a copy, and you can change as much as you want into your one there. So I would definitely recommend using that. You can also put in, your captain thoughts there. So the green is for captains, mine, and your potential targets as well. So Drinkwater, Aitken, Humphreys, Plath, Campbell, and when I'm targeting these guys. So yeah, check this out. This will definitely help you with your buy planning as well. Send me screenshots as well in the group chat. If you do put your team into this and have a play around, send screenshots in our group chat and I'll have a look at those as well. Okay, guys, I'll hit a few questions just briefly here too. So Campbell or Herbie, I'd go Herbie for sure. KPP Olakawatu, I'd go KPP. ICAT or Sharp, I'd go Sharp myself. Good matchup there this week. Sandon and Phoenix, 2. King Tonga and Garrick is a banging pair of trades. Absolutely yes. Do I loop King, Katonga, or Jenkins? Katonga plays first, so I'd probably loop him. And then is 6 nights too many? I think it's not. They don't play till don't have a bye till round 18. So I think you're pretty set there. Now, guys, everyone else, if you didn't get covered today, I do send these through written as well. So you'll get written reviews coming through shortly. They'll come through and rate my team later tonight. So you'll be tagged in those as well. Just check the Rate My Team channel. Like probably tomorrow morning is the best time to check it, and they'll all be there by then. If you haven't joined as well, link is in the description. You just got to sign up on the WAP, and you can get into that. All my friends in mid-ranger and gun, I'll see you guys at 8 p.m. tonight in about an hour's time on our call. Otherwise, everyone, good luck this week. Trade hard. Saving trades for wimps. let's get into it, guys. Enjoy your